In all honesty, I didn't really want to make this video. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I get this question so often though that I thought it's time I addressed it. When I first went vegan, I thought easy. I just cut out meat, dairy, etc. But of course, veganism is a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is practicable, all forms of animal cruelty. One day, several months into my veganism, my partner Gemma was sick in bed and she asked if I would feed the cats. Up until that point, like a wimp, I'd let Gemma buy the cat food and feed them so I didn't have to have that on my conscience. I'd put the whole dilemma completely out of my mind. I happily grabbed a pouch of regular cat food, tore it open and squeezed the contents out onto their bowls. And then I remembered the terrible mental and physical anguish that other animals had to endure in order for me to have this product. I'll be honest, it shook me to the core that we were still complicit in such an abhorrent practice. This left me in somewhat of a quandary. Do we potentially risk the health of these animals that are in our care that we know and love deeply? Or do we continue to purchase meat-based cat food knowing full well that hundreds of animals will be put to their deaths? This is not a decision that we took lightly. If we got this wrong, we would have a terrible burden of guilt with us for the rest of our lives. We spent a good couple of months doing tons of research and speaking to loads of different vegans about their companion animals. We came to the conclusion that if done right, it seems that cats can thrive on a vegan diet. Out of the many people we spoke to, only one person's cat could not take to vegan food. The thing to watch out for is if they develop crystals in their urine. If this is the case, then sadly, they must be fed meat. We found out that you must feed your cat a complete vegan cat food. This means that it will contain all the nutrients that the cat needs and be pH balanced specifically for cats. It's not actually ingredients that we and other animals need to consume, rather it's the nutrients. After all foods are broken down into their constituent nutrients before being allowed entry into the bloodstream through the wall of the small intestine. Every single essential nutrient that a cat needs can be acquired without the need for meat in their diet. One such nutrient is arachidonic acid. Now, I always thought that this was only found in animal products like chicken and eggs. I was amazed to learn that pet food manufacturers can actually source it from seaweed. I spoke to the owner of one of these cat food companies and brought up the concern that some people say that there's never been long-term studies on vegan cats. His reply was, it's pretty safe to assume that everything's going to be a-okay because if things like taurine and arachidonic acid weren't being absorbed by the cats would be dead within about 5 months, while there's been vegan cats, very long lived. After much deliberation, we decided that we had no other choice but to try our cats on a vegan diet. Happily, all the cats love the food. In fact, it's fair to say that they actually prefer it. They seem to be thriving. 0 issues 6 months in, and in fact, one of our cats, Mitzi, was born with a heart murmur. 2 vets gave her 1 year to live. She's now 12, so the vegan diet obviously has not given her any problems. However, I do recognise my own hypocrisy here. As a nutritionist, I preach a scientifically backed, species-specific, whole foods, plant-based diet for humans, while feeding the cats processed foods. This topic is such a grey area for vegans, and I'm sure I'm going to get lots of hate comments for my actions. I simply could not, in good conscience though, continue to fund such barbarity. Before you criticise or judge me, I would ask, do you feed your companion animals biscuits or tin food? Because these two are highly processed. For example, the amino acid taurine, which is essential to cats, is destroyed by the cooking process and so has to be added in after cooking. Also, how many animals in the wild cook their food or would be able to catch a cow or a tuna fish in order to eat them? Not very species specific. And I would ask, what is the difference between a cat or a chicken which ensures a long life of love and affection for one and a death sentence for the other? I wouldn't seek to tell others what they should be feeding their companion animals. Again, it's a very grey area. I long for the day when lab meat comes down in price such that nobody has to face this sticky dilemma. Now watch this.